To be honest, SIG kind of broke the internet when it first announced the P365 macro lineup of pistols. Now, when it first came out, the P365 existed as a small, subcompact pistol, great for concealed carry, and then they made the XL, which was basically the same thing, just a little bit bigger. And then the Xmacro came out, a firearm that is lengthwise and height-wise almost the same as a Glock 19, but with a slimmer form factor that fits 17 rounds. When it first came out, I thought to myself, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I laughed, I enjoyed the memes, I would show you some of the things that I might have said in the Instagram DMs, but like Sig Sauer has a tendency to revitalize and make new generations of the Sig MCX, Instagram also likes to revitalize my Instagram by deleting them, forcing me to make a new one. So I can't show you any of the things that I said, but just let it be known. I was the biggest P365 macro hater on the planet when it first got announced, and I never really quite understood it. Time went on, and, I had spoken to some people who really did enjoy this pistol. They say that it shoots good, they say that it's fairly accurate, that it performs like a bigger gun, which is kind of cliche to say about a subcompact, but people were saying it. Now, my brother-in-law, who is a big-time gun owner, he knows a lot about firearms. He's not the typical gun owner that just owns a gun as a talisman. He knows how to shoot, he likes good guns, he has good stuff. He carries a P365 Xmacro with a 17-round flush-fit magazine. And I kind of thought, okay, if he's into it, if he's cool with it, there's got to be something to it, right? So when SIG reached out to me about doing some reviews on firearms, they asked if I was interested in getting the Xmacro, and I said, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. And I was still not on board with the concept, but I picked it up in my hand and I said, okay, that's not that bad. That's actually pretty nice, right? It feels good in the hand. And I thought, okay, we'll see how it actually shoots. Everyone online is saying, oh, it shoots almost as good as my Glock 19. And now this one has the carry comp. I'm not sure what they exactly call this, but the slide itself is the compensator. It does not work as well as a typical compensator that's built into the gun, but this is built into the barrel. This is built into the slide, but it does do a little bit to help soften that recoil. So I took it out, I shot it, and I just kept shooting it. I've gotten this gun wicked hot. I actually really enjoy shooting this gun. Unfortunately, in the state of California, 17-round P365 Xmacro mags did not exist at the time of Freedom Week, but I really see the appeal. You have a firearm that shoots almost as good as Glock 19, conceals better, is more comfortable to carry because of the overall size being slightly smaller in a few dimensions that really matter, and then it carries 17 rounds plus 1 as opposed to 15 rounds plus 1 in the same overall height. So I was sold. The second I picked it up and started shooting this gun, I was sold on it completely. Now, it's mainly the grip. You can actually put this upper slide component on your normal P365, which I think is very neat. The firearm being the fire control unit inside of the gun is a neat feature of the 365 and 320, and it is something that other companies have started doing because they saw the success and the ability to make these firearms much more modular by swapping out the slides, barrels, grips, and just having one firearm being the trigger control unit. That is a huge selling point for a lot of people. Now, this is not going to be a Glock killer. I do not think that the P365 Xmacro by any means is going to overtake the Glock 19 in the go-to recommendation market for people looking to just get one pistol that can be carried, but can also be good for defensive use, shooting at the range and being fun like that, because the Glock 19 still wins out on overall performance, but for size to performance, the Xmacro and the SIG P365 have a lot to offer you. So, is it a Glock killer? No. But did it change the game? I think yes, because we're seeing more and more companies making firearms like this. The Springfield Hellcat Pro, I believe, is a great example of that. We're seeing all these other micro compact pistols having a plus or a pro version that is a slightly upscaled version of that same original micro compact gun. It's not quite as large as those Glock 19 size guns, but it's not quite as small as the original firearms that they were based off of. So you kind of find a nice little middle ground, which having more options is better, which is why I'm thankful that the CRPA brought me on part of the Bolin versus Bonta lawsuit, which is actually why I was able to get this in the state of California. Having more options to choose is good for the economy, good for the buyers, good for the sellers. It's good for everyone all around, because the more options you have, the more likely you can find an option that is perfect for you or that works best for you. I'm also really looking forward to the Duncan versus Bonta lawsuit, which will potentially allow us to get 17-round mags in the state of California. If you're wondering when will we be able to do that, well, the Duncan versus Bonta lawsuit put on by the CRPA is currently waiting at the doors of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is likely going to hear a Maryland assault weapon ban case. I believe it was Maryland, might be wrong on that, but an East Coast assault weapon ban case, as well as a magazine ban from the East Coast and the Duncan lawsuit. So we are likely in the next year or so going to be seeing some big movement on assault weapon bans, magazine bans, and just general firearm bans as a whole. So this is actually going to be a huge game changer for California, because the second I could start putting 17-round mags in this bad boy, it's game over for my Glock 19. I'm going to be carrying this significantly more often. Let me know what you guys think down below. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace. I hate magazine disconnects. I go to just drop the striker just because, and I'm like, fuck. Every time.